some workers. All right, here we go for practice today. Not practicing. All right, Tom Compton, Alex, and Demarius. We'll kind of see how those guys are feeling and see if we can get them out of practice at all. It's just kind of up in the air right now. Beecham, Henry, Robbie will be limited. Robbie's just, he's got some leg tightness, so we're just trying to be smart with that. But everyone else should be pretty good to go.
So the Robbie thing, is it just precautionary?
Yeah, I mean we're just trying to make sure that he feels good going into Sunday.
Things don't always carry over into next year, but when you're ending the season, it's for Sam, Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Buffalo. How can that help?
I think every practice, every game, every time we get a chance to do meetings where he's learning and he's preparing, that's a good thing for us because he's building that library up. He's building that knowledge up. Every time he takes a snap in a live game, it's more experience for him. And he's seeing things that, he might have saw early in the year and it looks cleaner to him now. It slows down. He knows what to do. He knows what his problems are. He knows what his outs are. I just think, especially his communication has improved so much from, we go back and, especially it's kind of weird playing a team week 17 compared to week 1. We're watching a lot of that stuff, and now it's, he's able to say, hey, we should have done this or we should do this. And, I'd look at it like this, and it's pretty cool to kind of see how far everything's come since then.
Is there a game or a moment that you can look at with him and say, I know you talked about the throw he made to Crowder in the Baltimore game, but is there a moment that you say the game is definitely slowing down? He's definitely, getting this.
I think the Oakland game was one where just some things pre-snap looked really good, just communication-wise. And I think every game after that, you see improvement each week. Usually when I see him talking at the line of scrimmage and he's moving fast and he's getting set and there's a lot of time left on the clock, that's when I feel like he's feeling really good.
How have you seen Sam progress with specifically? How do you progress specifically with making protection adjustments at the line?
I think it's really just kind of the pre-snap looks, using his formation indicators, just kind of where the location of, defenders are. It's like this team is a tough team to go against as far as Sean does a great job with these overload blitzes, especially year 3 in their system. And it's like they have more players than what they had when they first started and guys that have been together now for 3 years. And it's just they can do a good job disguising. They get lined up fast. They can call things. If you try to go hurry up, they're still getting to their stuff. It doesn't affect them. And, he's got to be able to see those type of things, make adjustments, change the mic point, where Jonathan a lot of times can kind of make it really easy for him, and then he's got to kind of help work with him, after they get the look.
How has the communication between you and he developed through the year as you guys have gotten to know each other, got more comfortable?
I think the more one he understood kind of the system, why we were doing things. I think once he felt more comfortable with the base he had, the communication goes way up, and it has gone way up. I think each week it gets more. I'm not afraid to say I don't like this. Not worried about hurting anybody's feelings. If there's something that he wants to, hey, how come this isn't in? Can we throw this in? Just little things like that don't seem like it would be a big deal, but if you're around him, which you guys are all the time, you know how respectful he is. He's an unbelievable kid. Always just wants to make sure he's doing everything for everybody else. And, it's not as easy as you think to say, hey, I don't like this, And he's done a good job of, getting to that point where now he's not afraid to say anything.
Is there also an element of that where, he's a proud guy, he's been successful at playing football his whole life, where he doesn't want to say, this isn't working for me, I'll make it work almost. You have to get over that?
I think there was a point early in the season where it was like that, where he, in his mind, he was like, I'll make whatever work. And then I think he got to a point where it was like, all right, this is what I really like. And no matter what happens, I can make these plays work. And hey, can we lean on this, when things get tight? So that's to me, that was always a big statement by him, and each week it just kind of built and built.
What was your main message Tuesday when you guys gathered just about this last week and this last game?
Well, to me, it's one, obviously kind of addressing where they're at. That's really not a concern of ours with who's playing. It's all about kind of understanding their scheme and, going in this game, studying these guys. Like, we didn't know what they were going to do at the time, so we had to focus on, like, all those guys were playing, which sounds like they are now. So, that was one of the big things that we talked about. And then really it's about getting better. We have 1 week to get better. Practice, game, our game kind of flow and all those things, complementary football against a good football team that's going to be playing in the playoffs.
When you have that situation where you don't know who's playing and the other teams are playing for seeding or whatever it may be, and you guys aren't, how disappointing is that you're not in that conversation, you're not planning like that?
Yeah, you always want to be playing another week. That's the toughest part about this week. You always want to play another week. You want to get in the chance to get in the tournament and then see what happens, because once you get in there, anything can happen. You've seen teams over the last decade or so that you get surprised when they kind of make a run. But, we just didn't start off fast enough. Whatever reason that is, it's irrelevant. We've played better here in the back half of the season. There's a lot better complementary football. I think guys understand kind of how we want to play from week to week. Last week was a really good example. I thought the guys did a phenomenal job, playing exactly the way we wanted to play against that team. And, hopefully we can build off just really our experiences from this year and then kind of see how things shake out, as the offseason goes. And then when we hit next spring, we can keep building off of what we did here at the back half of the season.
Jamal indicated that when we were talking about the game, you guys are close, that you can kind of see it really starting to come together. Obviously, it didn't seem like that when you guys were 1-7. Now it's a completely different optic with how you guys are finishing out the year. Do you get that sense as well, that you're right at the cusp of being one of those perennial playoff teams?
It's hard for me to think that far. I mean, that's a long ways away. If you start thinking, all right, hey, week 1 next year, I guess my brain always goes right to spring. Kind of what's that going to look like? What can we do offensively? What do we have to change defensively or offensively, special teams? Kind of that's where my mindset goes. As players, they go right to the season sometimes, and we're still in this one right now. And I love the fact that Jamal he feels great about kind of at least the direction we're going and kind of how things are coming together and how guys are playing together. We'll kind of see how everything goes, and then once we start up, it's all going to be about week to week. How do we stay healthy? Are we doing the right things? Do we have a good training camp? There's so many factors before we even hit that season.
Total different note from that, though. But Greg has obviously done a pretty good job with the defense this year, considering the rash injuries they've had, all that stuff. Has anything that he's done surprised you, or has anything about working with him surprised you didn't really know going in?
I mean, I guess I've known him for 10 years now. So, I mean, I'm not surprised by anything that he's been able to do. I love the fact that he's so steady as far as if somebody gets hurt and somebody gets replaced, he just kind of moves things around and finds the right defense to get to make sure that we're in a good spot. And, it's harder than what you think. You just never can tell with him. He just kind of sticks with his plan and puts guys in the right spot and just lets them go play.
Adam, if Alice can't play, that'd be on your 9th different offensive line, I think, 11th different starting offensive lineman. Like, have you ever been through anything like this with a line, and what kind of challenges does that present for your offense?
I don't think it's ever been this many. I mean, it's the continuity part.
Yeah.
It's kind of tough, but I think these guys last week was a good example of Connor getting thrown in there, did a good job against a pretty good defense. And, if we got to move some pieces around again this week, then it is what it is. I think those guys have handled it well. It makes it tough, whether it's the running game protection, just communication, everybody being on the same page. That's always the thing you're really trying to make sure happens.
After 1-7, does a 5-2 finish? Is that important to you, or do you just look at the big picture, the record
I think you have to look at everything. I mean, you do have to look at, I love the fact that our guys kept battling, kept practicing hard, kept trying to find a way to improve and, flip it around. It's, I hate it for basically, like our fans and everybody that, there was high hopes going into the season. We didn't play very well at the beginning of the year. We had too many negative things happen, and we didn't find a way to win games. We got going too late. That's kind of what put us in this position.
Thank you, everyone.